or on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. We have 3 locations to help you out when you're having problems with your computers, your wireless network. If you have a hard drive that's not working right, we can get the information back off of it. Let me see. If you need a website, Schrock Interactive can build it for you. Pretty much if it touches technology, we touch it over at Schrock Innovations. First location, the original, is at 27th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln. For those of you in the Lincoln listening area, we are going to be moving that service center in a few months over to 14th and Pine Lake Road. So there's going to be a move of about a mile there. Just FYI, when you see the signs come down, it's not because anything bad happened, you see. It's because we're moving. Okay. In Omaha, 168th and Burke Street. That's just right across the street from Best Buy there at Village Point. Also in Papillion, 84th and Highway 370 in Midlands Place. 866-496-8772 is the number that you can join us this morning on the show. If you ask a question or make a comment, we'll put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate that we'll be giving out to one lucky listener here at the end of the show. Okay, so we got a bunch of stuff going on today. Last week, I kind of glossed over the fact that maintenance checkups are on sale. I just kind of glanced off that on purpose because I knew we'd get a lot of people in and we didn't need to get too many people in. But now we've processed through that initial rush and the turnaround times are excellent. We're still doing same day, next day turnaround times, primarily because a lot of people are buying the certificates rather than coming in because the weather is so nice. I mean, if you're looking for a reason to get out, all you need to do is throw your computer in the car and take it over to Schrock. I mean, it's a great excuse to get out and do something. But there's a lot of really interesting news this week too. So I'm going to try to split the deal today. We're going to talk about computer maintenance today because I was talking with the lovely Kimberly yesterday, and she said, you have a lot of new listeners, and I don't think you always realize that, Thor. I think that you always think you're talking to the same people every week, but you're not. You've got new listeners in Des Moines. You've got new listeners in Lincoln. You have new listeners in Omaha. You need to kind of hit the basics once in a while. And she's right. I do. So one of the things, we told you preventative maintenance checkups are on sale, but I never told you what it means to get a preventative maintenance checkup, what's included in it, how it works, and what you could expect to see after you get the computer back from a maintenance checkup. So we're going to hit all that stuff on the show today. We do, of course, though, that as exciting as that sounds, we do have some other stories for you. Verizon says, yay, we're the first 5G service in the world to put a 5G phone on a 5G network commercially. In Chicago, they released it a few days ago. But they released it 2 days ahead of the planned release of South Korea's 5G network because they wanted to be first in the world. But you see, Samsung wasn't sleeping at the switch, so Samsung actually released theirs early as well. So both companies and countries released their first 5G networks early, trying to be the first. But who released theirs early enough? And also, what kind of experience did people have on that 5G network in Chicago? Was it good? So we're going to tell you about that coming up here on the program. There's a small change. You may or may not have noticed this. We're talking about this big new Windows upgrade that's coming out. And I always tell you, here are some of the highlight changes you're going to expect in version 1903. We went over these last week. Minor changes to the start menu, changes to the search functionality, things like that. But there's lots of little changes that don't ever really get brought up to the top of the headline bucket. One of those little changes that actually was pushed out in the last update, meaning you guys already have this, it's version 1809, is the way it handles USB devices. Your USB hard drives and flash drives may be operating slower than they did before the update, but as a trade-off, you don't have to do that safely eject garbage to eject it when you're done using it because it's always ready to eject. So we're going to talk about that, just these little changes that happen that you may not even realize what's going on there. We're going to tell you what to deal with that as well here on the program. 866-496-8772. That's the number to join us on the program. Of course, ask a question, make a comment. We will get you in the drawing for that $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. There is no such thing as a silly question. because trust me, if you have the question, there's a lot of other new listeners or people who have been longtime listeners that have the exact same question that are looking to get it answered. Also, welcome to everybody joining us on Facebook this morning, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. It was kind of weird. I hooked up with our wire. I use a wired connection for the Facebook Live here in the studio because, that's what you should do. It's more stable, right? There's a reason we started with Wi-Fi and we switched over to the wired connection. I've just noticed the last couple of weeks, the show has been dropping a lot. Viewers have been saying that the video stream is freezing up. So I thought before I do the show this morning, I'm going to do a speed test and just see what the speed of this wire is. And I couldn't load the speed test because it was so slow. And just on a lark, I pulled the wire out, which of course my laptop just reverted to Wi-Fi, and everything was just like instantaneously loaded. So this little cable right here it's all tangled up now because I was so disgusted, I just kind of threw it back here in a ball before the show started. This cable right here, if you were having trouble watching the show on Facebook, may have been the culprit. Or it could be in the wall, or it could be at the switch, or it could be not my network, right? That's somebody else, not in my network backyard. I don't know, NIMBY network. But no, so hopefully we're on wireless today. So if you're watching online, hopefully things go better this week than they have in the past couple. All right, so let's kick off this whole grand show here by talking a little bit about some preventative maintenance. So we have these things called preventative maintenance checkups. It's one of the the cornerstone products of Schrock Innovations. Our company's culture, our company's core service concept is don't fix what's not broken, and things that are maintenance don't break, right? So our whole thing is we love to see you in the service centers. We love to have you guys come in, and we love solving problems for you. We love your money. We love getting paid to fix your problems. But ideally, the best thing that we can do for a long-term relationship with our customers is to keep their technology working for them so that the problems are the anomaly rather than the rule. This is one of the reasons we came up with Safe Upgrade. Every 6 months, your computer was getting blown up by a Windows update. Well, let's create a product that actually installs the update and doesn't blow up your computer. Isn't that better? We could collect money every 6 months from people coming in because their computers blew up, but why don't we just prevent the computer from blowing up? Isn't that what we're here to do? So that's what we do. One of the ways we handle this at Schrock is through the use of preventative maintenance checkups. Now, there are two buckets of customers at Schrock Innovations. There's the bucket that believes in preventative maintenance, that when we have one of these sales, they either are coming in for it, they are buying the certificate, they are Johnny on the spot, ready to go, get me maintenance, because they know we don't always launch these at 6-month intervals, and that's how often you're supposed to have maintenance. We launch them when we slow down, basically. And when the weather gets nice like it is right now, we get really slow because people get out from behind their computers. I was at Lowe's yesterday. Holy cow, the whole city was at Lowe's yesterday. I remember 2 weeks ago, there was like 2 cars in the parking lot, and now it's like I had to park in the pothole. I mean, it was that bad. So keeping your computer running with maintenance is a perfect thing to do when you're not using it. Like right now, when you're not using it as much because you're out doing other things, the weather is nice, you're in the garden, you're getting home repair stuff done. I took my Christmas lights down yesterday. You're getting these things done. You're just not on the computer right now. Even I was on the computer less yesterday. Even my son was on the computer less yesterday. Ya yeet. You know what I mean? So if you have a kid, you know what ya yeet is. So all things said, what is preventative maintenance? How does it help your computer not break? And why is it important? Can you do it at home yourself? Do you even need us to do it? There's a valid question. So we're going to answer those for you in the next 5 minutes here really quickly. So first of all, a preventative maintenance checkup at Schrock Innovations is a top to bottom check of everything in your computer, from the physical realm where your fans need to be blown out and cleaned out, and we get all the Doritos crumbs out of your keyboard, things like that, all the way down to the digital realm where we're checking you for viruses, malware, programs that are installed on your computer that are slowing it down, that are not necessarily malware or spyware. They're not viruses, but they're potentially unwanted programs that don't really do anything for you, but provide a security issue in that they can watch what you do. And number two, they're just slowing you down. Things like the coupon printer. So back in the day, there was this program called the coupon printer. And the idea was companies would pay this coupon printer company to upload coupons to them. And at home, with your brand new fancy bubble jet printer, you would print out the coupons and then use them at the store. The coupon printer. Nobody prints coupons anymore. Now you just take your smartphone screen to the store. If you've been to Michael's, never ever, guys, here's the thing. If you end up going to Michael's with your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other, or just by yourself, because there's nothing wrong with that. If you end up going to Michael's, never, ever, ever leave Michael's without Googling the coupon. Same thing with Hobby Lobby. There's a coupon. It's like 20% off one item. Boom, right? So if you're going to go and you're going to go through all that, at least, be the savings guy and save that 20% at the end. And you just show it on the phone. They scan it right on the screen. Boom, done. That's how coupons are done now, guys. Coupon codes online. You don't print the coupon. Who needs the coupon printer? Are you printing coupons? Why, no, I'm not printing coupons. Well, you have the coupon printer installed. I do. And that's exactly how this starts. I do. And you see, you get enough of these things where you don't know what's going on inside your own computer long enough for enough things, and all of a sudden things get out of hand. Then you're getting pop-ups and you don't know where they're coming from. Then you're getting things coming up on the screen. You're getting, weird things happening with your devices, voices coming out of your speakers. That's not a joke. These things will start happening because it's impossible to trace it back. And it's like, it's that concept. It's easier to keep your house clean if you clean it frequently. Whereas if you do it like once a month, it gets so built up that it's such a more intense chore than it needs to be, that if you just did it regularly, it would be a lot easier. Isn't that what you moms try to teach your sons, right? So first thing we do on a preventative maintenance checkup is physical. We blow everything out. The computer I had on the bench on Thursday in the Omaha Service Center, longtime Schrock customer. I mean, literally longtime Schrock customer. I called him up and he goes, Thor, I haven't heard from you in a long time. Like, I've talked to this customer before. He's been in before. He's been in several times. This is one of our computers. Bought era 2008, 2009. Longtime customer. Has not been in for a maintenance checkup in like 4 years. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with you, man? We try not to be too pushy about the maintenance checkup stuff, like the dentist. We don't send you postcards, things like that. We just let you know when they're on special, so that's like your cue. Like, okay, if you need one, come get one. They're cheap right now. It's not $90; it's only $45. So his fan. Now this is the fan that's covering the brain of his computer. This keeps the brain cool. The way that processors work, the cooler the brain is, the faster it'll run. The hotter the brain gets, the slower your computer will run. So if your computer has slowed down significantly over the past, 6 months, it's because possibly that fan is obstructed, because it sucks air in and pushes it out. So it collects dust, kind of like your dryer filter does. And you get a little lint blanket going there. And that lint blanket prevents the air from flowing, which makes the fan push more air, which draws in more dust, which makes a bigger lint blanket. And you can see how this is like a negative feedback loop. So you need someone to go in there and knock the lint out of it. And it sounds like the stupidest thing in the world, but this gets incredibly important if you have a laptop. If you have a laptop and you use it on a non-hard surface, because, everybody puts their laptop on a desk, right? If you're using it on the couch, the arm of the couch, the comforter on the bed, the carpet on the floor, any surface that apparently is somewhat flat and handy, your jeans, your lap for your laptop, all of these items have fibers, and your fan draws air in from the bottom, sucking these beautiful fibers up into your computer, where they form a wonderfully effective thermally heating lint blanket in your laptop. Now, the reason this is more important in a laptop, inside your computer, there's a fan and a chunk of metal. That's all it is that cools everything. So if it gets obstructed, things don't work right. No big deal. We clean it out. Everything is fine. That's not the case in a laptop. In a laptop, you actually have a liquid cooling system. You just don't know it. You have a small chunk of metal, because there's not enough room for a big chunk of metal. And then there's pipes that go to another chunk of metal where the fan is. And it moves the heat from where the heat is generated to the outside edge of your laptop. So if you touch the palm rest of your laptop and it's unreasonably warm, that's why. So what happens over time, if you don't get preventative maintenance done on your laptop, those heat pipes expand because they're hot. And then microfractures occur, and the coolant, the liquid inside, evaporates through those microfractures. As the pipe cools, they close back up again. And over time, this expansion and contraction means you have no liquid in the pipes anymore. Now the pipes can't move heat because the liquid gets hot. It goes up one pipe, it cools off in the radiator, and it comes back down the other pipe where it's used again for cooling. Well, if the liquid escapes that closed system, your laptop now can't cool appropriately. It's going to run slower. It's going to run hotter. Your battery is going to drain a lot faster. It has negative ramifications. A lot of times these computers present with, hey, my battery doesn't work anymore. It only lasts like 30 minutes. The battery's fine when we test it. It's because everything else in the computer is running at 6,000 miles an hour trying to keep it cool. And so then they find out it's a heat system. Well, guess what? The fans are cheap. Fan is like $40. But a fan with heat pipes is like $140. Again, preventative maintenance. Blowing that fan out would have saved that person $100. All they have to do is get the preventative maintenance. Now that's one part of the physical aspect of it. When we get into the digital side of things, that's where things get really tricky. So we're going to check and make sure your Windows updates are current, including current versions of Windows 10. If you're running version 18.03 still, and you have no reason to check that or to know that, you should be running 18.09. Why are you not running the most secure version of Windows 10 that's available? Well, is there a piece of hardware that's not working right? Do you have a piece of software installed that's not compatible? You don't have to fix these things, but you want to know about them because eventually you're going to have to buy a new computer if you don't fix that. So knowing about it is half the battle. Knowing what your options are allows you to choose the option that's right for you. And sometimes that option is to do nothing. I totally get it. There's also this attitude that, hey, computers are so cheap now. We're just going to let it run into the dirt. And then once it's all done, once it's all broken down, we'll buy a new one. The funny thing is, nobody really, when you have to buy a new computer because something broke, you always have to do it in a rush. You can never plan it out. And it's a now, today thing instead of a, hey, let's budget in a new computer. We know we're going to need one 6 or 10 months from now because Windows 7 is dying and our heat pipes are bad in our laptop. So let's continue to use this one and limp through it until we decide to get the new computer. Let's figure out how we're going to put that in the budget. That's how life is supposed to be, right? That's how adults are supposed to live anyway. But unfortunately, a lot of people live like children and they just, oh no, it broke. I'm going to buy a new one. And then they realize, oh gosh, the cheap new ones are junk. They don't build them like they used to. And that's really true. That's not just like me flapping my gums, guys. They don't build these computers anywhere near as robustly as they used to. When I tell you that a new computer is designed to last 18 months, I mean it. The other day, of all the stupid things I've ever heard, you guys, everyone's heard about kids pulling keys off keyboards, right? So I left my laptop out and my 2-year-old came along and grabbed a key and popped it off and thought that looked fun. And it's like nothing is faster. No, there's no faster land animal than a toddler that has something in their mouth that you're supposed to take away. And they're like, pew. Same thing with keyboards. All of a sudden, this little human being who can't seem to pick up a puff off his tray becomes the most nimble key separation tool you've ever met. And he has 4 fingers and there's 4 rows. And he's like, brrr, and then you come down and it looks like someone's playing Scrabble with your keyboard keys. And we've had customers come in with like a Ziploc baggie with their keys and a laptop with no keys and say, can you put my keyboard back together? And we're like, no, you just need to buy a new keyboard. The other day we had someone come into the service center. Her bird swooped down and removed a key from the keyboard, not once, but twice. So I don't know. First of all, you have a bird. Secondly, it like flies about freely in the house. Third, it likes to destroy computers. This is a computer destroying parrot, apparently. I don't know if it talks. I don't know. Maybe it's like that tech support helpline. Call the 800 number. But it was like I've never heard that one before. Parrots destroying keyboards. That's amazing. All right, 866-496-8772. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the malware things, some of the software-based things that we do to tune up your computer. I'm going to tell you what are the things that you can do yourself at home, should you want to do that, and the things that are best left done in the service center. Coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs. And all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This Pro Tip 423. Everyone knows you need an antivirus and firewall program for your computer, but which one is the best? Should you use the free ones, pay for a commercial product, or maybe even the free stuff your internet service provider gives you? The absolute worst thing you can do is to install nothing. Windows 10 comes with Windows Defender, but Microsoft never intended it to be your primary antivirus product. Free antivirus like AVG or Avast are more effective than Windows Defender, but Consumer Reports ranks the free antivirus products in the middle of the pack when compared to their commercial competitors. As for the free software from your internet provider, forget about it. It's designed to protect their network, not your computer. There are two products that trade the crown for best antivirus software year after year. Schrock recommends Symantec products like Endpoint, but the Russian-made Kaspersky antivirus program also does an outstanding job. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This, and I apologize if my voice has sounded a little rough this morning. I've got that, I don't know, there's some kind of respiratory cold thing going around that literally it feels like your body is melting for like a day and a half. Like, so one second you're stupid hot, and then the next second you're frigid cold, and then you're coughing, and you have a headache and muscle aches, everything else, and then it's gone like 2 days later. And it's just, I never get sick. Never. Nothing takes me down. Everyone around me is sick and dying and coughing, and I'm just like, maybe I should wash my hands, There we go. I'm good. I'm feeling kind of run down. I think I'm going to take a nap. Oh, okay. I feel better now. All right, let's go back to work. And everyone's like, we hate you. This took me down like a feather in the wind. Like it was like, no, like it never even happened. I was one of the first to go down. And because I never get sick, I never have the shared experience of having to tough through sickness, right? And so I'm consequently like the biggest baby you ever met. I don't feel good. So my voice is a little weird because it's scratchy and whatnot. But so bear with me if it doesn't sound like me once in a while. It's not a terrible imposter. It's actually me. I'm that bad. All right, 866-496-8772. That's the number to join us on the program today. If you have questions about your computer, if your computer has been slowing down, if you have questions about your laptop, if the speed is not where you want it to be, maintenance could be the solution that gets you up to 25% of your computer's performance back. That is a significant improvement. If you've never had a maintenance checkup before, or it's been more than six, the first time around, like there's years of built up stuff, and we blow it out of there, and it's like, wow. And then maintaining it after that, you don't have the wow every time because you haven't got it that dirty. We're keeping it clean, but we've got to see it every 6 months if we're going to do this for you. So here's the deal. Normally, preventative maintenance checkups take about 8 hours of labor to do, which is why we get a little bit backed up during the maintenance checkup sale sometimes. Right now, We put in extra work over the evenings and came in early in the mornings, and we've got those benches cleared down to the point where we are not in queue in any of the 3 service centers right now. So that means if you brought in a computer for preventative maintenance today, it would go directly up on the bench and we would start working on it. Now, preventative maintenance does take 8 hours at least to do, sometimes longer, especially on holiday specials. If you have a computer that's under warranty, please, for the love of all things holy in the world, bring your computer in for preventative maintenance, because if we find something wrong, we fix it under warranty. Wow. Novel concept, right? Don't wait till your warranty's expired and then bring it in. Bring it in when it's under warranty to get the preventative check done so we can find the problems and fix the problems while they're free to fix. That's the other aspect of this. So, long story short here, guys, preventative maintenance is on sale at Schrock right now. Normally it's $90 for that 8 hours of labor. It's on special right now for $45. It's half off for 8 hours of work. I don't think kids even work for, I mean, the kids' allowances are bigger than that now, aren't they? I mean, so my wife the other day, she was explaining how, kids get $1 for every year of their age. That's a thing. So, when their birthday comes, they get a raise basically. And then someone looked at her and was like, wow, that's all you give them? I'm like, yeah, we haven't adjusted for inflation. And sometimes kind of like Social Security, we just never give you any kind of inflation boost there because, there's no inflation, but everything's getting more expensive. All right. So when we do preventative maintenance on your computer, I mentioned we do all the Windows updates. We don't do the operating system upgrades as part of the maintenance checkup. We'll let you know if they need to be done. But the reason we don't is sometimes there's reasons people aren't doing those. Sometimes there's a reason they've allowed a bad piece of hardware to stay in the computer that would prevent the update, or a piece of software to remain installed that would prevent the update. And we don't want to blow up anybody's world. So, we stop. Maintenance is great. Maintenance that breaks things is not maintenance anymore. Remember that core founding principle? Don't fix what's not broken, and maintenance keeps things from breaking. Okay? So we're going to follow that tenet. So now we're going to get inside the data of the computer. Not your files and your pictures and everything, but we're going to scan for malware and viruses and potentially unwanted programs. I do have a couple people who commented on Facebook that they still print coupons, so that's good. But my guess is you don't need the coupon printer because there's no coupons to print there. So the coupon printer is a program. It's one of those nasty things. Or for example, if you have Semantic Endpoint on your computer, then that's your antivirus software. When you're installing things on the computer, sometimes you get companion software like the McAfee virus tool, or the, oh golly, what's another good one? I'm trying to think. Avast, AVG, all these freebie things that are trying to get onto your computer. When you get those on the computer, you're effectively now running 2 antivirus scanners. That's beating the tar out of your hard drive and slowing your computer down. We don't need 2 of them. You already have a really good one you're paying for. Get rid of all the free ones that you didn't mean to get, that you don't even know are there. We clean all those up for you. We're going to do a lot of testing. We're going to make sure that your hard drive is healthy, that your hard drive is, if it's a mechanical hard drive, that all the sectors are good. We run 2 tests, a surface test and a smart test. If you have a solid state hard drive, we don't do the surface test because the surface test actually wears out the hard drive faster. So we just do the snap test to see if there's any problems that have been reported with the drive. We're going to test your computer's memory, those memory chips inside the computer. There's no easy way to test those when the computer is running Windows. I mean, there are tests that you can run, like, let me think, WinMem. You can run WinMem, but you can't test the memory that Windows is using. So if you have bad memory and Windows is using the bad memory, and that's why Windows is having problems, and you run a memory test, it's not going to find the bad memory. So we need to do that in the shop. That's an example of something you want done in the shop. Hard drive surface testing, another example of something you want done in the shop. Blowing out the dust out of your computer, you could do that at home easily. Defragging your computer. Well, at the end of everything, when everything is said and done and cleaned up, if you have a mechanical hard drive, we're going to defragment your hard drive. Notice I said if you have a mechanical hard drive, because if you have a solid state, defragging your hard drive actually hurts the hard drive. It wears it out. It causes it to die sooner. So you don't want to defrag solid states. So at home, you don't want to do home defrags anymore if you have a solid state hard drive. So those are just some of the things, pluses and minuses with the maintenance checkup that you can do at home, some of the stuff that we do in the shop that you shouldn't do at home. But all in all, guys, it's $45. Just let us do it for you. Let us do it for you. Have a warranty on the work for 30 days that if anything goes squirrely with the computer after the checkup, we're there to help you out with it. Let us make sure that everything is working well for you so that you can become a customer that doesn't get hit with unexpected repair bills because you're doing the preventative maintenance. You do it on your furnace. You do it on your air conditioner. You do it on your car. Do it on your computer. All right, so half off. You can bring it directly into the service center. We're open Saturday from 10 to 8 and Sunday from noon to 5. Otherwise, if that was not a good time, if you have plans this afternoon, like a picnic, for example, you can go to SchrockInnovations.com, click on Shop and Specials, and pick up a copy of the Preventative Maintenance Checkup Certificate there. It's $45, but it's good for 6 months. So you can come in anytime it's convenient for you in the next 6 months and have that maintenance done. So if maybe you just had a maintenance checkup done a few months ago and you're like, Thor, I don't need one yet, grab the certificate. It's good for 6 months, and then you're good to go. 866-496-8772. We're a little bit long here, so Bruce, hang on the line. Your call coming up next after the break.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website. Secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed semantic endpoint software. Find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices and get free help and tips. Take a look at the specials section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases, even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. Added stress to those living near the U.S. southern border as Customs and Border Protection shift hundreds of officers from ports of entry to helping process incoming migrants.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen addressed the crisis.
It is real. Those of you who are here on the front lines are living it every day.
But the shift has left fewer CBP officers at ports of entry to process trade and travel. Besides trade concerns, local leaders are worried the move can leave them vulnerable to drug trafficking, and CBP has called the Rio Grande Valley sector the busiest in the country for migrant arrests and drug seizures.
Fox's Madeline Rivera in Brownsville, Texas. Texas Tech and UVA make it to the NCAA Men's College Basketball Championship, and this afternoon the NASCAR Cup Series thunders into the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Kyle Busch, the reigning champ in this race, looking for his 5th Food City 500 win of his career. He'll start in 17th. Green flag waves at the Bull Ring at 2 p.m. Eastern.
And Napolitano. This is Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
A few isolated showers possible this morning. Then we'll see clearing skies as we head into Sunday afternoon. Temperatures climbing to around 71 degrees. An isolated storm is possible during the afternoon. Overnight, clear skies with temperatures falling to around 48. More warmth on Monday with a high around 79. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist David Keller on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. 866-496-8772. That's the number to join the show. That's the number to get your questions answered. That's the number to win $25 potentially. And that's the number Bruce has dialed. Bruce, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hey, so I'm getting tired of my inkjet printers drying up, because they'll print for quite a while and then there'll be like a dry spell, literally. So the ink dries out, and so I'm thinking about getting another printer as opposed to paying, half, the price of a new one for the ink. And I think color laser might be an option. I wanted your opinion. It's more expensive at start, but how long would it take to pay off? Would that time frame fit within, before Windows says, oh, you're obsolete?
Gotcha. When you're buying a new printer anymore, again, this is following they don't make it like they used to train thought here, but you're not going to get a printer that's obsoleted before it dies. The printer is going to break before Microsoft obsoletes it in almost every case. Now, the second problem you're going to come up against is when you buy a printer, you go out to a box store, you go to Schrock, and we say, here's a printer that's $150, or you get a really, really cheap inkjet that's like $30, right? Those printers cost more than that to make. So you're actually getting a subsidized printer because the company selling you the printer, whether that's Brother or HP or Canon or any of them, is assuming they're going to make that money back off of you as you buy ink. So then the Cartridge World places, that's who we recommend. That's who we use for our color laser jets we use color laser jets in the service center, and we buy our cartridges from Cartridge World because they're literally half the price of buying them from the manufacturer. So here's the challenge, though. The manufacturers know this is happening, and that's why every single printer you buy comes out with a different cartridge, and you can't use the previous cartridges. That's why that the printers, if they detect you're using a non-authentic cartridge, it could cause quote-unquote damage to the printer. Actually, they brick the printer if they detect an unauthorized cartridge, because when you bought the printer and you powered it on and installed the software, you clicked I agree. And you were agreeing to not install unauthentic. So I made an employee click that. I didn't click that. But no. So basically, you agreed you weren't going to do this. Now, here's the thing with inkjet printers right now. Ink cartridges are microchipped now. So they are programmed. First of all, even if, let's say you've got the new printer and the cartridges came with it, and you put those cartridges in, those cartridges are only half full. The ones that come with the printer are only half full, so that they run out quickly, so you have to go out and buy new cartridges. Now, when you get those cartridges, let's say you get the new cartridges in and you print one time, like you said, and then let's say you go 90 days without having to print again. You have 3 months without having to print. And and you come back and you're saying the cartridges are all dried up. It's not that they're dried up. The microchips have expired the cartridges. The microchips are programmed to expire the cartridges after 90 days, need it or not. For the protection of your hardware, of course.
Process, and sometimes that helps recover them. But I'm just tired of the game or whatever, so I want to buy a color laser. I think and
you're going to have the exact same problem in the laser printer cartridges. The laser printer cartridge you get with the printer, they're only half full. When you get a color laser printer, you don't have 1 or 2 cartridges or even 3 cartridges. You have 5 cartridges, and each one is going to cost you between $30 and $50 a piece when it runs out.
What color laser do you guys use then?
What color?
Yeah, you said you have a color laser printer.
Oh yeah, we use we have Brother. We have the Brother laser printers. They work real well. They're pretty much all the same anymore. It's just HP doesn't have we need a pretty high duty volume for the service centers. We print a lot of work orders and things. And HP doesn't have something in that space. They've got low duty volume and they've got ridiculous duty volume, and then they've got nothing in the middle. And Brother actually has some nice printers in the middle. So HP makes a great color laser jet. I've owned one of those before for years. But the problem is when any one of the color cartridges goes out, you have to replace it immediately. Otherwise, the printer won't print, not even in black. And each cartridge is going to cost you $30 to $50 a piece. And you have 5 cartridges now.
Did I spend $150 every year, or did I buy a laser and pay $500, $600, and
It depends on how often you print, to be brutally honest. And you're going to have the same microchip problem. Those cartridges are going to expire even if they have lots of toner left in them, which is, like I said, why we don't buy our cartridges from the manufacturers. We buy them from a third-party reseller. There are other places I've had less luck with. Cartridge World seems to be the best place that I have found. They'll even deliver them to your home. They even fix printers. We don't even fix printers anymore because there's no point to it, because the printers are just like the computer. They're engineered to die after 18 months. And people don't understand that. If you have like the old bubble jet printer and it's printing still, do not throw that away. Buy that ink, because those printers were so much more economical to run. You know, you mentioned, am I going to get my money back? Am I going to, before I have to? You're never going to break even on a printer, man. Printing is it's an expense. You're never going to, unless you're selling what you print, you're never going to make money.
All right.
Does that answer the question for you, Bruce?
Not exactly. It sounds like I still have to make up my own mind.
Yeah, either way, like, pick what's best for what you're doing. So, I mean, if you're printing high quality photo quality prints, you need to stay with an inkjet. The color laser jet is not going to give you the same quality output. You're going to be able to tell it was printed on a home color laser jet printer. Whereas sometimes with these higher end inkjet printers, you can't tell photo printing one from the other. So get what's best for what you're doing, and understand that no matter which way you go, the expense is going to be about the same. You're not going to save a significant amount of money by switching to a laser jet versus an inkjet, because the laser jets are more expensive to run per page, but they tend to last longer on the cartridges, so that the cost per page is about, is a little bit higher actually, but the cash flow expense is a little bit lower, if that makes sense. All right, 866-496-8772. We're going to take a break here in just a moment. When we come back, for those of you who have iPhones, there is a brand new Apple operating system out. Should you go out and install it, if that pops up on your phone, iOS 12.2, if you're the cautious type, then chances are you don't rush out to install it, but instead wait for those who are braver or foolhardy to go first. We'll find out which you are here coming up next. Hacker Group has been hacking your D-Link routers for the last 3 months. If you have a D-Link router or D-Link modem, this story is something you want to hear coming up next on Compute This.
Now you can configure and purchase laptops, desktops, tablets, and more, all at the new SchrockInnovations.com. Check out our specials for one-of-a-kind discounts and deals. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This, pro tip number 187. Recently, you may have received a phone call from someone claiming to be from Microsoft, or had a message pop up on your screen telling you that your computer was infected. Do not respond to these calls or messages. They're always a scam. Microsoft will never call you about your computer. Here's how the scam actually shakes out. You get the phone call that your computer's infected. The scammers hit you with some mumbo jumbo about an infected IP address. They'll ask your permission to connect and help you fix it. Once they're in your computer, they do a bunch of fake scans that detect a lot of problems that really aren't there. You see the scan results and figure your computer's in trouble. Next, the scammers will demand up to $400 to clean up the computer and set you up with a lifetime protection. Don't fall for the scam. Keep good security software installed, like Endpoint and Secure Updater, so when things like this do happen, you know you are covered. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
All righty, guys. Final segment of Compute This. Thanks for joining us on the program today. I hope you're having a great afternoon. 866-496-8772. Those are the numbers to join us on the program. Ask a question, make a comment. We'll put you in the drawing for that $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate here at the end of the program. We spent a lot of time in the first half of the show today talking about what computer maintenance is, why it's important, the bad things, the expensively bad things that can happen to a computer if you don't get preventative maintenance done, and the shocking realization that lots of people just aren't doing maintenance anymore. It's really weird, because when we first started doing preventative maintenance checkups, it was because no one was doing maintenance. Then everybody started doing maintenance, and now it's almost like nobody wants to do it anymore. And like I said, it's that general belief that, hey, these computers are disposable. So at a minimum, we should be seeing people coming into the service centers with holiday special laptops, because you don't want to have to replace the cooling pipes on those. It is not $160 for those. Those are expensive. Holiday special desktops, they're under warranty, guys. You should be bringing those computers in for preventative maintenance while they're under warranty, in case there's something wrong, like a power supply, for example, that is undervolting or overvolting your motherboard. That's something you can't detect at home. That's something that has no symptom, but over time, what it does is it fries your motherboard. The motherboard is the main board in the computer that everything plugs into. The main board that goes obsolete after about 2 years, that we can't buy anymore. And then we have to put in a new board and new memory and a new processor. And then all of a sudden you have almost a whole new computer, and you're wondering, why is this so expensive? It's because you didn't maintenance it. If we replace that power supply before that overvoltage or undervoltage damages the components inside, you don't have that problem anymore. So people who have preventative maintenance done to their computers have a much smoother experience with the computer over time. They have a higher tendency to get more productivity from their system and longer lifespan from the system. They get better return on their investment, because they don't have to buy a new computer every 18 to 24 months, because if you take care of things, they tend to last longer. I mean, these are lessons that, that used to all be true. But in the upside down bizarro world of today, where it's cheaper to buy a new one than to, do the $45 maintenance, I digress, So here's what I'm getting at. All the service centers, guys, have at least one bench spot open right now. All three of them do. So you can get that computer in today if you want. If you're looking for an excuse to get out and do something, come on in today, drop it off at the service center. If you can't make it out today, pop on the website, SchrockInnovations.com, and you can pick up a preventative maintenance certificate. The certificates there are $45, just like coming into the shop. And then you can get that all taken care of for you. All right, so if at home, however, you have a D-Link router or modem. So D-Link, D-Link. We don't sell D-Links in the service center. We sell TP-Links. Those are different. D-Link models have been getting attacked for the last 3 months, home routers. The attackers operate by using well-known exploits in the router's firmware to hack vulnerable devices and make silent changes to the router's DNS configuration. That's a fancy way of saying, when you type in an address on your computer, the command to go to that website goes from your computer to your wireless router. And then your wireless router sends that command to the internet. If your wireless router is infected, then what comes back to your computer is not the website. It's not Amazon.com. It's Amazon.com. And you get a malware infection on your computer. So, you really have to be careful when you're dealing with routers. There are firmware updates. The firmware, think about this like a Windows update for your router, okay? Except they're not automatic. They're not easy. You need a password to do it, and it's a piece of your router you haven't been into since the day you set it up. So that's all it is. It's no big deal, right? So no, you really should check your router every 6 months as well for maybe we should start home preventative maintenance. We come out to your house and do it. And we can check your router too. But there are some D-Link models that are specifically impacted by this. And I'm not going to go over the whole list here, because there's a lot of them. If you have a D-Link DSL modem, so this is if you have DSL as opposed to cable internet, you may have a modem that is made by D-Link. These are also impacted. All of their ADSL routers, let's see, there are 14,000 DSL routers that are impacted. There are 379 of this model there. So the total number of routers impacted are 2,265. So chances are your D-Link router is impacted by this. So heads up on that one. Oh, golly. Going through here. So if you got Windows 10 and you're keeping up on your updates, your version updates, you have version 1809 right now. One of the new things that was introduced in 1809 about 6 months ago was the different way of handling USB drives. Now, we've had callers call into the program before and ask, I see this little icon down in the lower right-hand corner that says safely remove hardware. And I know on a Mac, I have to eject my hardware before I have to drag it to the trash can before I can just unplug it. Otherwise, you get the slap on the wrist, like you improperly ejected, you could have data loss. And people have asked me, does the same thing happen on PCs? And the answer to that is it depends on how the PC is handling the USB device. Normally, the answer is no. It should be okay. Unless, of course, the drive is in the middle of doing something you don't want to yank it out. So safely, if you're concerned, safely removing is always the best thing to do. Otherwise, you can just yank it out and go. That's what I do. There's two different modes that your USB devices operate in. And Apple operates theirs at the fastest possible speeds, which means you have to eject the hardware when you're not using it because there could be background tasks happening, archiving, indexing, all kinds of things like that happening that it gets interrupted. Now, on a PC, they also had the high-speed option enabled, but they changed that in 1809 to enable the lower speed option instead. The trade-off here, though, is you can pull out your USB device anytime you want. So, for those of you who are safely ejecting or trying to and wondering where your safe ejection thing even went, you don't need to do it anymore. You can just reach up, grab that drive, pull it right out, yank it right out of there. It's perfectly good to go. This is the default setting on all Windows 10 1809 now. If you prefer to have it fast, there is a really fun, somewhat complicated, I'm not even going to try to walk you through this on the radio, thing that you can do to switch it back from quick removal to better performance. If you use a lot of USB devices, if you're a photographer, for example, and you're using PC and you're saving a lot of stuff on external hard drives, you're going to want to adjust these for better performance because it's going to mean hours of saved production time transferring all of your images back and forth. 866-496-8772. Colleen, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Yeah, I hope that you can give me some expert advice. I had Verizon for email for a number of years, and then a couple years back they dumped their email off onto AOL. And so now all of a sudden, I seem to be having more problems with my email. I have it coming in through Outlook. I got Outlook 2016 about a year and a half ago. And so I'm getting these little boxes telling me that, I have to put my password in again. So I called AOL the other night and was on the phone with them quite a while. Long story short, had the passwords reset, had to reset them in my iPhone, and now all of a sudden the problem is happening over again. And when I do call, they want to sell me something. They want to sell me service, maintenance, whatever.
Right.
My brother-in-law says he thinks it's something they're doing. I would like your opinion on it if I could.
Okay, so who provides your email right now? Is it AOL or is it Verizon?
Well, Verizon, they no longer provide email, so it's AOL. They dumped it all over on the, we didn't have any choice, but they just dumped us.
Okay, so right now you have a free AOL email account. Now, here's one of the things. When you had somebody the other day call me in the service center, and she said, well, I was having trouble with my MSN email, so I called MSN, and then they remoted into the computer, and I'm like, you did what? Like, you can't, the free email services do not offer telephone support. Like, there is no one to call. You can't call anybody. If you did call somebody, you sure as heck didn't call MSN. You called the fake tech support scam company who's always trying to sell you something. So what you're talking about, I always, when I call for help, they always want to sell me something. The number one best thing that you could do, like, to improve your quality of life, is to just walk away from AOL and go get another free email from Gmail or even Yahoo. I mean, just if you're going to go with freebies, Gmail is one of the best free email providers out there. They all scan your email. They all invade your privacy. They all want to serve you ads. They're all the same in that respect. But AOL is hard up for revenue, so they would much rather you not use Outlook to check your AOL email. They want you to go to AOL.com and view your email there, where they can show you advertisements on the screen, which you don't get in your Outlook.
Now, can I ask you this question?
Yeah.
I did go to AOL's website. I did see my email out there on the AOL thing.
Mm-hmm.
So were they a scam?
AOL?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was dealing with a scam. I didn't think so, because I could go out on the AOL website. I mean, the lady who talked to me on the phone, we went into AOL's website and so forth. So were they for real and just trying to sell me something, or were they a scam?
Well, usually it's a blend. It's a bit of both. The person that you called is probably not actually working for AOL. That's the first thing. In the same way, you can call Schrock Innovations and say, I'm having trouble getting into my AOL account, and we'll get on a Schrock desk call with you. We'll connect with your computer and say, let's see what you're seeing. Okay, go ahead and type your password in here. Okay, look, here's your AOL. We're in your email now. So we can see, we know your password works. Now let's go take a look at Outlook and see why you're not getting email there. So we could act like, and if we just said we're not Schrock, we're AOL. I mean. And then, hey,
so even though
there's a maintenance special going on, ma'am,
yeah, well, even though even though it was on the AOL website, the phone number said.
Well, see, that was at the AOL website. See, this is how tricky things get. If you Google call MSN, it'll pop right up with a phone number right at the top of the screen. Google will say, this is how you call MSN. Because there's a website out there that says this is how you call MSN. Actually, that website is a fake tech support website that has a fake phone number that's saying it's MSN's phone number. And therefore, when it comes up in the search, people find it and they call it. And they say, well, I called you and I called the number I got off the website. So it should be legit, right? It never even occurs to people to think that the website, the original source information, is not legit. It's like if somebody hacked your phone book and put a fake phone number in there for, the power company, and then you called the power company to pay your bill over the phone, and you ended up calling a scammer instead. That's basically what's happening. Except people just don't realize it. So I guess, honestly, I do understand that when you have email and you're trying to move that email from one provider to another, it's highly disruptive, especially if you've been with them for a while. But it sounds like you had a Verizon email for a while, and now you have an AOL email. So you've been through this before. I would suggest you pick up a Gmail account. You can actually set up your Gmail to check your AOL email for you. And then when you reply to people, it'll be from your Gmail. So over time, people will just figure out you have a new Gmail account. You won't have to send out the big, I'm changing my email, thing. You'll be good to go. Thank you for the call, Colleen. I appreciate it. We got to draw a winner. $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate is Bruce. Congratulations. You've got yourself 25, and we'll see you next Sunday.
From the Millard Roofing Studios, we've got you covered. This is News Radio 1110 KFAB, Omaha, an iHeart radio station.
We can never allow open borders.